How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. So I drove for Uber and I did it for about 10 days. All in total, I have about 150 trips under my belt. Now it's all over. I returned the car and everything, but I am left with a lot of Uber data in my app still. So one of the things I did was I went to the statements and I downloaded all that data to see what I can do to analyze it to get some insights. If you ever try to look at the statements, it only tells you the trip information, but does not go into more detail about what the rider pays. So if you want this information, you actually have to go in there and copy it out manually. Now, I have this weird conspiracy theory about companies. Whenever they try to hide information, I feel like there's something valuable there to be seen. So I purposely dug that out, copied all this information into a spreadsheet, and I started analyzing it. While I was doing this, it's some grueling hard work because every single trip, it actually took me about 90 seconds. Yes, I timed it. And with 150 trips to copy out, it took me essentially 4 hours in total. Let me share with you guys what I found out so far. There are a few questions that's on my mind that I wanted to answer. The first question is, what is Uber's cut? This is not a straightforward thing because you can just take one trip out and then you can go, okay, maybe they take 25, 30%, but it varies depending on which trip it is. Sometimes you see that, yeah, they take about 60%. Sometimes they take 50%. Sometimes they take 45%. But what you need to do is take a look at the overall cut that Uber takes. Because each trip differs by so much, you need to aggregate all of them to figure out how much did you earn in total, subtracting tip, subtracting toll, and then see what is the amount that Uber takes. Over here, I generated a graph over 150 trips. Over the 10 days that I did all these trips, I averaged out that Uber is taking about 30% of everything that the rider is paying. Now, this 30% includes all the surge trips I did. So you might wonder, well, how much do they take if you don't do any surge? They actually take a little bit more at 32% if I include only the 20 or so surge trips. You can see that Uber's take reduces dramatically to around 5%. Those surge fees does not usually get passed on to the customer for some weird reason, but as a rider, when there is a surge, it seems like it's more expensive. So there's this discrepancy over here. So I plotted this graph, Uber's cut versus distance. What this chart tells you is that the shorter that you drive, the larger a cut that Uber takes. Sometimes you have a choice of picking longer trips because if you're at a time where there's a lot of demand and then suddenly you get a call to do an Uber for, I don't know, it's like a 5-minute ride or something, then you can go, okay, I have a fair chance that if I cancel this, I'm still gonna get another trip pretty quickly. So then if you do that, you might actually earn more per hour. Every single point is one single trip. So you can't necessarily go, okay, I'm gonna draw some average line across there and then go, okay, this is what Uber's cut is, because then you still have to weigh each point. The longer trips have more money in it, so then those weigh more. Sometimes you might see all these dots below the 20% cut mark. These are mainly due to promotions that some people had, and this caused the percentages to skew a little bit. So if you kind of eyeball it, you can go, okay, well, for the very short trips, sometimes it's as high as 60%, but you know, they hover around 50%. When the trip distance is around 5 miles or less. As you get higher and higher to maybe say 20 miles, the percentage that Uber cuts, it's around 30% or so, and it just kind of tapers off as you drive further and further. Now, it's important to note that for all this data, whenever I take the Uber's cut percentages, I always remove the tip and toll, because to me, Uber's percentage should not depend on how much people tip. The amount that people tip should just be 100% goes into your pocket, right? And the toll usually gets added to your earnings, and I feel like this should not be included at all, because the toll, you pay $5 across a bridge, they're gonna pay you $5, so it should not be added in there. Now, my next question is, what is the hourly wage driving for Uber? This number is so elusive that no one really knows, because some people go, oh yeah, I earn so and so much amount, and then other people is like, okay, you know, if you factor everything in, including gas, depreciation of the car, insurance, maintenance and stuff, then they go, oh yeah, you're only earning $10 an hour. So what I did for this is that I removed the wait time, and I'm only calculating how much you earn per hour when you're driving. So there's no question about if you're an expert driver, then you know how to hit all the good spots so that you're not waiting for very long. So this number translates to 100% on driving time. So you drive one person somewhere and you're such a good driver that once you drop someone off, someone else gets on. And this is the hourly wage that I am trying to estimate here. Across 150 trips, I added all this up. You're gonna get paid about $48.30 every single hour if you have 100% on time. Now, some people might go, well, what if you only drive during peak times? What if you only drive during surge times? Because driving only during surge time is a very popular strategy for a lot of people. And people sort of kind of think, oh yeah, this is how you earn more money, because every single trip you might get, I don't know, $5, $8 even in an additional amount when you drive surge. So I did do some surge trips. So I'm going to remove all the surge trips first, okay? And then you get $46.20. So yes, okay, your hourly wage reduces a little bit because, I removed the surge. But then when you look at only the surge trips that I took, which is about 20 of them, you get paid $78.20 every single hour that you're doing surge. This is on average, okay? I'll average across about 20 surge trips. For me personally, if I add up all the money that I earned on Uber, subtract out the toll, and then divide it by my total on time, I got $21.50. In total, I spent $345 in gas. So I subtract this out from, whatever I earned, and I ended up with $17.10. This is the hourly wage, including the wait time. I removed the toll, and then I also removed the fuel. So $17.10, and then you still have to remove the car depreciation if you have any. You have to remove the insurance costs. If you ended up paying more for insurance just because you're driving for Uber, you have to subtract out the increased maintenance costs involved with changing oil more than that you need to, and also buying new tires. Let me just note over here that the car I use is a BMW 330i. On average, I was getting about 27 miles per gallon. And so if you factor all this stuff in, I get $21.50. So I subtract out about $4.40 every single hour. That's how I got the $17.10 per hour. Now this new chart over here is very interesting because I plotted the amount of dead time I have. All this wait time, I add it all up, and then I can see, oh, what's the percentage of wait time? Across 10 days, you can see it over here. The first day is about 55%. Waiting time. The second day, I didn't do as well, 65% wait time. And it goes up and down because I was trying to change my strategy, and I'm like, okay, let me do this and then let me see if I earn more. Sometimes purposely do something wrong on purpose, if this makes sense, because I want to find out what would happen if I do something wrong, right? Day one, I have 54% dead time. And what I learned from this is Monday through Thursday, that's when I drove, 10 a.m. to noon, I felt like it's because it's not high demand hours. And so I'm like, okay, I probably shouldn't drive around 10 to 2 p.m. right around the noon time during the weekday, because everybody is probably at work and they're not hailing Ubers to go out and have fun or anything. So that is like a strategy I learned from day one. Day two, I had a dead time of 65%. I was driving on the weekday 8 a.m. all the way to 3 p.m. So, I was still driving around that dead time. Day three, I had 58% dead time. Again, I was driving during the not so high demand times. At that point, I wasn't really trying to avoid it, but I was just trying to do it more and more often to gain experience. Day four, I had 67% of dead time. Friday, I did an all-day work on that day. I went through the entire day, probably 8 or 10 a.m. all the way to midnight or something. So this includes all the dead time because I was just like super gung-ho about driving. So then I just drove throughout the whole day. Day five, I changed my strategy a bit. I had only 33% of dead time because I drove from 9 p.m. all the way to 1 a.m. On a Thursday, which is a high demand time. So right around 9 p.m., everyone got off work. Maybe they want to go out or something, all the way to 1 a.m. So I think if you're driving around the peak hours, especially during Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening, those are really good time, along with Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, people tend to not go out as much. It dies down a little bit to me. Day six, 64% dead time, so a lot of dead time over there. I worked all day Saturday. This includes the non-peak hours. I worked another Saturday and I got 53% dead time. So I have 2 Saturdays here. One is 64% dead time and then another is 53% dead time. Where you place yourself within the city also matters. On day 8, I had only 43% dead time. I drove on Sunday 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It was okay to drive during the afternoon on a Sunday because people still want to kind of hail Ubers. So you do this on a weekend and not a weekday. Day 9, I had 46% dead time, pretty good. 8 p.m. to midnight or so. Again, weekends are busy. And then day 10, I had 64% dead time. Monday, 8 to 11 a.m., which was sort of slow. If you really want to work on weekdays, it might be better to work between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. instead, but I could never get up in time to go on those hours for myself because, you know, the night before, I just drove the whole day all the way to midnight, so then there's no way I want to wake up 4 hours later to drive. But sometimes that is the way to earn more money. If you're living the Uber life, you might have to go, okay, my life is between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. and then you stop between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. and then you have this huge gap during the weekday of 8 hours in the middle of the day, and then you drive again starting around 5 p.m. all the way to midnight. So back to the hourly wage thing. Across 150 trips, I said before, you earn about $48.3 every single hour. If you remove the surge trips, you make $46.20 every single hour. But if you only consider the surge trips, you suddenly make a lot more, $78.20. So if you're able to only take surge trips, you can significantly increase your hourly wage, which is a pretty positive thing. Now, these numbers are when you are 100% time driving someone. You're always going to have some kind of dead time. But in my experience of working for 10 days, the best I ever got is about 33% downtime. Some of you guys are out there are a lot better. You can just go hit one after another and another. And, you know, basically you're always driving someone. But I'm going to use 33%. So if you subtract 33% out from this, your hourly wage is going to go down, right? Because when you're waiting there, you don't get paid. So all of this becomes $31.90. If you remove the surge trips, it becomes $30.50. If you only consider the surge trips and you have 33% downtime, you earn $51.60 every single hour. Now, I think the cost of gasoline is not going to differ all that much from what I have. I had 27 miles per gallon. Maybe if you drive a Prius or something, you might get double. So you might be able to subtract a little bit less gas than I am over here, but let me just do it for how much I actually use myself. So it goes from $31.90 to $27.50 for averaging across 150 trips. If you remove the surge trips, $26.10. If you only do surge trips and subtract out the gas and you have 33% downtime, you would earn $47.20 every single hour. Now I'm converting all of this into a yearly salary because I want to know how much I am going to make every year if I just consistently keep on doing this. The result is $54,900 across all trips if you just do all the trips like I personally did and not care about driving only surge or driving only peak times, because sometimes you might just drive the whole day. Then yeah, you're gonna get $54,900 every single year if you only work 2,000 hours, which is, you know, a typical 40 hour per week, and you just keep on doing this. If you remove the surge, of course, you're going to make a little bit less, $52,178, if you're able to only do surge only trips. Now, I have to put a little asterisk here because you probably cannot only do surge trips because you might only be limited to maybe 4 hours of surge time every single day. You're not going to get surge time maybe sometimes during the weekday. It might only happen Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But if you're able to work 2,000 hours worth of surge times, you might be able to make $94,370 every single year. This is a theoretical maximum, and you might not be able to do this. Now, I like to look at theoretical maximums because it gives you a ceiling of If you are super duper good Uber driver, and if you work a full-time job doing this, how much will you make, right? A lot of people doing Uber full-time might actually work more than 40 hours. Maybe they might push themselves to 80 hours, 100 hours. So you might be able to double this number and make a lot of money. But do you really want to work 80 hours a week to make 100K a year? Sometimes when you work at an office job, you are required to work, 10, 12-hour days. But personally, whenever I think of salary jobs, if they ask me to work 50 hours a week, if they ask me to work 60, 80, 100 hours a week, I would actually go home and figure out how much less they're paying me. How much are they reducing my hourly wage as compared to if I were to only work 40 hours? So thanks for watching this video. As I said, it took me a long time to extract all this data. I believe I might be able to extract more insight out of it. It took me about 4 hours or more to copy all this data from the app. I hope you guys enjoy it and get some benefit from this. Don't forget to give me a like, comment down below. Let me know what you think of all these insights. And as always, push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.